If you're looking for a laser engraving machine that's affordable, safe and good, then this could be the machine for you. This is the R2 R2. It's a fully enclosed, smart laser engraving machine that comes with a 10-watt laser as standard. This one's been supplied with a 20-watt laser and also a 1.5-watt infrared module, perfect for marking metals. Now, R2 did send me this machine for free, but this is an open and honest review of what I really think. And today I'm going to put it to the test to see how good a machine this really is. First up, I will say it does come very well packaged, with all its accessories neatly packed into the foam inserts. And included in this one is the exhaust tube. There's the optional 1.5-watt infrared laser module, and an optional air compressor with pipes. And there's also some triangular blades, perfect to keep your material off the bed when cutting. In the top part of the packaging we have a warning label and a box that contains the user manual and laser engraving and cutting guides. Then we have a power supply for the machine, some test materials and extra cable ties, a bag of tools and safety keys, lots of cables and an SD card and reader, a bag of air pump accessories and a focus template, and finally some safety glasses and spare cables. And then to finish off we just need to remove the rest of the cable ties, the plywood brace and the rest of the foam packaging. As you can see, it's so well packaged, nothing's going to move or get damaged in here. So I'll just quickly tell you about the specs of the machine and a few special extras. Well, the machine itself is a simple plug and play machine with a working area up to 300mm by 210mm. It's got an engraving speed of up to 20,000mm a minute. It includes a 10-watt laser as standard, but has an option to upgrade to a 20-watt or even a 1.5-watt metal marking infrared laser. It has a built-in flame detection system with 5 sensors located all over the machine. There's a safety isolation key on the back, perfect for those wandering little fingers. It also has a built-in screen with auto self-check and a hardware status scan. And finally, there's a dedicated app, so you can even run this machine off your phone. So on to setting up the machine, we just need to screw on the exhaust pipe with the 4 supplied screws. And then we can put the safety isolation key in and plug in the power cable, pop in the small SD card, and finally push in the air hose and make sure it's secure. Then we just need to plug in the other side of the power supply, push the air hose into the reducer and make sure it's secure, and then push the other end into the air compressor. So now everything is plugged in and ready to go. I'm just going to give it a once over just to make sure everything is tight and nothing is loose. Then I'll just do a quick visual check on the 5 flame detector sensors that are located in each corner and under the laser module. And just before we power it on for the first time, I'm just going to check the laser lens, which you can get to by unscrewing this part here. Then I can see if the lens is clean or dirty, and give it a clean if needed with some IPA and an earbud or Q-tip. Then screw the nozzle back on and slide the laser back onto the bracket, not forgetting to plug in the wire for the flame sensor. And finally, as this machine has been supplied with the optional 20-watt laser, we just need to adjust this end stop here. Okay, so that's everything set up, nice and simple. So let's move on to connecting to Lightburn. So we just need to plug in one USB for Lightburn and the other one for the camera. Then we can turn on the isolation key, twist the E-stop and hold the power button for about 3 seconds until the machine powers up. Then the laser will reset to the home position, ready to work. Once you have Lightburn open, head over to the camera control window and select the camera from the drop-down menu. Then go to the laser window and in the devices drop-down menu, choose the COM port listed. and then we can double check that we're connected by looking in the console window and seeing OK. And as this machine comes with a built-in camera, we may as well use it and test it to see how good and useful it can be. So I'll quickly just run through the camera calibration process. Then I'll run through the camera alignment process, filling in some rough values for the engraving speeds and powers, and hit start to start the engraving. Once the laser has stopped, I'll just finish off the alignment process and then click Update Overlay to see the image on the workspace. Then, just to double check the accuracy, I'll just cut a small circle around one of the markings and adjust the X and Y shift until it's perfect. So the camera calibration was pretty straightforward, but I did find it was slightly off. This could be due to a bad calibration, so maybe rerunning it would fix it. Although I did find that adjusting the Y shift in Lightburn seemed to do the trick and was good enough. Anyway, let's get on to some testing. So first up, I'm going to place in the 4 triangular cutting blades to lift the material up off the base. Then I'm going to drop in a wooden disc to test, and not forgetting to focus the laser onto the material, which you can do by dropping down the focus stick, lifting up the laser module and placing so it's just touching the workpiece, and then secure it in place. And finally, lifting back up the focus stick. Then in Lightburn, we just need to update the overlay, place your drawing over the workpiece, set your engraving and cutting speeds and powers, turning off any alignment vectors, and then hit start once you're happy. Well, that did a pretty nice job for a first test. So next, let's try some slate. So we just need to import some vectors and align them to the workpiece. And I did find that the closer the part was to the base plate, the more accurate the alignment was. And again, just turn off any alignment vectors and run. I think the slate engraving turned out really nice and clean and sharp. So this time I wanted to try engraving a picture frame. And after a quick wipe down, I think the picture frame turned out really nice. This time I wanted to try and engrave and cut on some 6mm solid cherry. And this turned out really nice, with a clean, sharp and deep engraving. Next I tried some colour core laminate and wasn't sure how well this would do on a diode laser. But it turned out great. So now on to some depth testing. First up is 6mm poplar plywood. Then I tried 9mm poplar plywood. And finally 12mm poplar plywood, which I ran as 2 passes. As you can see, I managed to cut through all 3 thicknesses with no problem. Impressive! And as I was sent the 1.3 watt infrared laser, I better test it out. So the only stainless steel I seem to have is cutlery, so I engraved a spoon. And it turned out well. So that's all the testing done, and I think the machine did really well, especially with the engraving, and I was super impressed with the depth of cutting too. Now, if you don't have Lightburn, it does have a dedicated app, so I'll just quickly run through that next. Okay, once you have downloaded and opened the app, there's a control center where you can move the machine and even turn the lights and fan on and off. There's also a text section where you can add text in different fonts to be engraved, and if we scroll through the material parameters you can see there are lots of different presets. There's a puzzle section where you can make different size jigsaw puzzles, and then there's the AI image generator to help generate images better suited for laser engraving. And finally, there's a graphic library with some silhouette images ready to be used. So I'm just going to finish off by explaining a couple of minor issues. One was the flame sensors. They seem to be very sensitive, and as I've got this machine in my porch, which is all glass, once the sun started shining it was pausing the machine. So I got in contact with R2 and they gave me a solution straight away. One was to reduce the sensitivity of the sensors, and the other one was to just simply turn them off, which fixed the issue straight away. The second issue was the camera. It was more accurate towards the base of the machine rather than having a deep object, which was closer to the camera. But if you do a frame before engraving, then you know you're going to be in the correct position or not. And I always do a frame before engraving or cutting, so there was no issue. And the third one was changing of the laser modules. Now, if you're not going to change from a 10 or 20 watt to the metal marking laser, then there'll be no issue whatsoever. But if you were constantly changing from one to the other, then using the cable ties is just a bit of a pain. So maybe just using a wire or even some hook and loop would fix that issue too. So conclusion. I am really surprised with this machine. It did really well with the engraving. Nice, crisp, clean lines, and the depth of the cut it was able to do with the 12mm poplar plywood pretty much blew me away. I mean, I've struggled to cut 12mm poplar with a 60 watt CO2 laser before, so to be able to do it with a 20 watt diode is really impressive. And I'm going to find it interesting what else I can get out of this machine in the next few weeks. But if you are interested in one of these machines, then I will leave a link in the description along with a discount code too, so you can get even more money off. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.